Hello and welcome back to Let Supreme Ghost the Dark mod. Welcome! Today we are finishing the Penny Dreadful series with Mission 3, Erasing the Trail. And in my opinion, this is the best of the bunch. This is such an incredible mission. It's a city mission, a big, complicated one, and it's probably my second favorite Dark Mod mission after Iris. And it's not far after that one. So this is very, very impressive. Now, in the last Penny Dreadful mission, we did have another poll where we elected the next Dark Mod mission to be played by yours truly after this one. And that ended up being the Painter's Wife. And that was, interestingly, the mission that I had on my radar as probably would have been my next mission if I hadn't done the poll. So that coincided well with my wishes too. And I have heard that that is an incredibly complicated mission, or a big mission. And in many people's minds, the best one made for the Dark Mod. So it might take a while for me to prep that. So we'll see when I get done with that one. But we're going to finish up Melan and Bikerdude's campaign today. So let's get going. In a city where every window is an eye and every doorway a whispering mouth, it is hard to keep a secret. When I learned of crime lord Archibald Flint's involvement in robbing me of the Grail of Regrets, I knew I'd have to strike quick and strike first, but I failed. By the time I got near his place to Fiddler's Hill, every gate to his hilltop mansion was locked, every alley patrolled by thieves eager to kill. 2 days later, I watched my tenement go up in smoke and flames. The hunt was on, and it wouldn't be over until they'd have their quarry dead or captured. Flint's main enforcer is a man named Grunt, known to communicate in written orders after his throat was cut in some altercation. A real bloodhound. I will have to deal with him one way or another to get the heat off my back and allow me to reach Flint himself. Flint is also looking for my dead body, and I'm planning to have it delivered right to his doorstep. Another underworld figure, almsmaster Quant, lives a few streets from Grunt's mansion, and he is said to be my spitting image, an uncanny resemblance. Wonder if Flint will recognize the difference. Well, time to find out. Sometimes the only way to deal with a hornet's nest is to kick it over. This night, I'm back in the middle of it. I have already run into a pair of sentinels, but I slipped into a small garden and jammed the lock behind me with a bit of wire. Hope they don't raise the whole neighborhood, or this will be over real quick. Time to get moving. So on expert, we have to take Grunt out of the equation any way you can. So you can go ahead and kill him, and that would be viable for Supreme, as long as you don't alert him in the process. However, there is a non-confrontational way to take him out as well. At least one. I don't know of any other. I mean, there are lethal and the one way that we're going to do it. If there are any additional ways to take care of him, please let me know if you are aware of that. But we're going to take the method that actually doesn't require you to go to his place at all. You can do it completely off grounds. Kill almsmaster Quant and carry his body to Penury Gate to make Archibald Flint think you are dead. So, this objective I thought for the longest time you would actually have to do physically what it says here. To kill him and carry his body to a little coffin by the gate. But I'm happy to report that you can also deal with this objective in a non-lethal way. Basically, we have to trick Archibald Flint to think that there's no purpose in pursuing us anymore. And it was a little bit of just happenstance that I managed to figure this out. Melan did give a hint in the forums on how to do it. But, yeah, well, I'll explain and show it to you, of course. You can do this objective as well in the, physical way and literally carry his body, but it's very tedious because he doesn't live close to that coffin, You can take a shortcut gate, but then you have to go back and close the gate afterwards for Supreme. So the way we're going to do it is going to be by far the easiest. Every lucre you steal around Cinder's End is a blow against your enemies. Acquire 2,000 loot. Cinder's End is the part of town that we are exploring in this mission. Get back to Woolmark Gate when you are done, which is right outside the garden that we started, so it's very close. An almsmaster, I assume, is some kind of a money changer, or banker, or something like that, just an ancient word for that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get going. We're gonna overhear the two guards that the briefing sort of explained that we had slipped away from.
There is no one.
Here they are.
Well, that's a disappointment. It was nothing. This gate seems busted too.
Now what?
Well, we keep searching. Flint's got a coffin ready for him at the gate, and he wants to see him dead with his own two eyes.
So, do we even know what this fellow's like?
Well, he's thiefy and stuff. Just like the almsmaster, they say.
So, how do we know we don't, catch the almsmaster by accident?
Well, he better stay home tonight, that's for sure.
Alright, one of those guards have a broadhead arrow if you're interested in getting all the pickpockets. Though arrows don't register properly in the pickpockets. But anyway, let's make a real save to begin with. And let's see, we are carrying not so much. We don't have a rope arrow in these missions, and we don't have pickpockets. We're playing as a different character. Gerald Foxley, isn't that the name? And he supposedly, by Melan standards, don't know how to pick pockets. So that's his justification for not including them, which is fine. Now the map, I really wish that they implemented a pointer for the map system. That instead of moving around like this, that you actually move the pointer. I don't think that could be too difficult to implement, should it? Anyway, we start in the far northwest, where you see the little plus sign in the red circle, close to Quillon Street, which is the street outside here. And we can see the Penuri Gate is just to the north of us, where we have to drop the body then, as per the objectives. There's also the Stone Head, which is an inn between us and the gate. The mission is sort of cut in half down the middle. If you go east to where you see Bindle Street, directly to the north, that's cut off for us. And then all the way down a little bit west-south, Dipper's Walk to Cannon Street, we're sort of flushed to have to go through Dipper's Walk. Either by way of Canal, which is the grey area, or by way of the streets. So we can utilize the canal quite efficiently. But we can't go to Bindle Street. There's a closed gate there that only can be opened from the other side. There are quite a few of those. And you can see Grunt's mansion is also in that general area. We're going to head south to the Tenements and do most of the western part of town now. There are a lot of keys in this mission, and all of those keys can be returned. Some of them act a little strangely, but all of them can be returned. So those that we pick up and need to take, we have to return then. So we're going to plan a route that will enable us to return them quite efficiently. And then if you go to the eastern part of town, the main area is the streets around Grunt's mansion, and then in the far northeast you have Dimwall Fair, which is a little street area there around the central building. You have the Tin Tankard in that area, which is a restaurant. And then if you go south from Dimwall Fair, you see the red X marks the almsmaster's house on Morgue Street. So that is an area we have to go to as well, of course. I am going to refer to the map, but since I can't point out exactly where we are at all times, it's going to be a little bit less useful for me in explaining my way around. But I'll use the names and the locations that are listed on this map as well. Excuse my voice a little bit. I have caught a little bit of a cold, so I'm popping some cough drops and stuff. I won't record this entire mission in one sitting, so I might get better towards the end of the mission, or at the end of the video. Alright, let us get going. Let's reload here. So we are in this little garden. Now we'll refer to my list quite a few times. We can climb up these beloved vines of Melans. Oh yeah. It's not a good start. There we go. These are the tenements that you can see here, and primarily the red windows there. This is a very, very difficult mission. It's a very big and complicated city. Lots of ways around. And I'm going to try to show you every possible way to go. So now we're headed east. I'm going over here now, primarily for this goblet, worth 15. This is into the upper level of the stone head. Far northwest, the inn, but you can't get through this room without either dousing the torch or taking damage. So that's not a viable option for Supreme. We should be able to do this entire mission with a 0 stealth score. Zeros all across, to be honest with you. So now we're in a building that's connected to the tenements, but I'm not really sure if it is the tenement. Alright. Nice little room here. I love how Melan is able so effectively to take a basic room and just make it interesting looking and new and unique. Just in constructions, you know, the shape of the ceiling and the walls, and just a few simple items placed here and there, coupled with distinct and unique ambiance for each location. I don't know, this might be weird, but just the fact that that pillow there is crunched up, for example, it says a little bit about what's going on in this room, and that this is a livable area. Alright, so here is a newspaper, I believe. The City Tribune, 13th, 6 Anno 832. The misfortune of Lord Fairmeadow. There are still but scant details about the dolorous events which took place last week in Linnets Gulch, a squalid alley between the scenic villas of Cascade Hills and Alderman's Redoubt. The discovery of a wrecked sedan chair belonging to Lord Fairmeadow and the disappearance of said lord and his young bride, Lady Ethel Harzing, caused great consternation in high society. Now there are signs even worse, as investigation has uncovered a hovel inhabited by the lowliest sort of beggars, where clandestine sources report charred and apparently chewed human remains were found, along with a handful of golden buttons and shreds of clothing belonging to Lord Fairmeadow and Lady Harzing. Whether more can be written about this horrifying turn of events, we cannot say, as the place is under ecclesiastic investigation, and the exact fates of the young lovers are yet to be determined. Rumpleball, Greenholm Darkside 1-1, rematch next week. Swarth Slope, North Quarter 4-1, suspended upon outbreak of hostilities. Our readers respond on a legal distinction 601. Sir, while your correspondent may freely fret all he wants about the current state of the courts in our fair city, and heap calumny on the barristers who keep them running, let me remind the author that it is the same courts that protect him from being robbed, swindled, or beaten to death by the unruly mob, or even honest readers who no longer put up with his slander. The presence of 6 separate systems of precedent and the codified laws of the fundamental edicts used in cases pertaining to religious matters are a tried and true system, even with their imperfections. In any event, let it be known that I am hereby cancelling my subscription to your rag of a journal. The Honorary Percival Melchett Grawled, Esquire, a very fine lady, 6'7". Sir, your portrait of my life, while flattering, is highly exaggerated. The 3 husbands I admit, but all of them I loved with my full heart while they lived. The rest, I would say, are the products of your wild imagination, and reflect on your character alone, an appraisal of which being an exercise I will leave to the reader. Lady Irene Montague. Alright. So that is all we have in here. No loot or anything necessary. The only way into the tenements, at least right now. Oh, here is the guy that has the key for the tenements. So I am going to apply the no target to show you guys around areas that I'm not going to actually go to. Here we have a room that is unimportant, really. There's just some dead fish and empty building. A farewell note. Hires the rent, says you. Leaves your deadwood houses, say I. You takes livers. Man's eyes, man's lungs, smokes, chokes, and soul's flat stones break. You tears man's rags from man's back, tears blankets from beds. You eaten me among the frieze and green. The great bridge widdershins, down path you dare comes. Now you gets fishies, payment you does. So I don't know if this is a threat maybe to the landlord from one of the tenants, that he is going to die, as in the famous Godfather quote, you sleep with the fishes. Okay. So here you can't get up, so this is a dead end. This is a locked and unpickable door. And then here, now we're staring north straight at Penury Gate. You can get in here, but you can't do that without alerts. This guy will see you. This is also a way to continue heading east into the old arsenal building. So this is not an area we can really pursue here anymore. So when you reload, the no target is back on. I will not have a no target as a part of my run here, but I will do it just to show you areas without getting interrupted, or maybe long readables that are in exposed areas, stuff like that. This is a dead end down here. It just leads to a door that can't be fobbed. We're gonna need to take this guy's key.
At least I'll be home soon, drinking good ale, chewing on a nice leg of mutton.
Tenement key.
I'll be forgetting about this place.
So we're gonna end up needing to return that, but we'll do that as one of the very last things in the mission, actually. There. Okay, so here we come into a room now. And this is the only way to proceed, since we couldn't go out the window there. Not the only way. We could have dropped down to the streets, but you can't get into these tenements from the other side. So here we have a couple of moss arrows in some kind of a mushroom patch. And then there is is a message. Lads, when you return, we must talk about that shroom patch of yours. Landlord don't like it, but I'm also getting a funny feeling it doesn't belong. I've not been sleeping well lately. The damn thing's all a flicker. And there's the damp smell to boot. Heard some stories, too, of fellows who had died coughing up blood, or who were found with the mold sprouting in them throats. Creeps me right out. Put it simply, the thing goes, or I do. That sounds about right. Okay. So now we're going to head out here. And then we can climb along here. And get into this room. So this is the locked door that you saw in the hallway. There is no key for this door, as far as I know. Gotta remember to close this window. Book of Enigmas. The Octagon Weird. A lineage of old wards the place. Here be monstrous offerings cast into a pit with princely riches. Yet where they moulder can one their bounty rob. A sentinel above is the key, and another below the solution. Grab the wisdom from beneath strangling airs, and the rewards be thine. So these are 3 different areas where you can find secrets. This is one that we're going to find in the tombs below Grunt's house. So it talks about a sentinel above and one below. So it's a very tricky and clever hint that, because there are 2 sentinels or gargoyles, or not gargoyle, beast statues that are found, one pretty high up and one in the tombs below. And the key for the ones in the tomb is found in the sentinel in the building above. So you have to recognize that those 2 statues are the same. One has a key and the other has a lock. The lion's head. This enigma is thus: he guards the egress, and the gate he oversees is a passage to nether mysteries. Yet he does, as he watches the vanguard, and once see behind, and here be another weird. Pour upon his plate that which he craves, and goodly morsels heap, and thus shall you find enlightenment. So this is a secret actually that's found below this room. And it talks about a lion's head, which is a mural that you can see in the streets actually. And in order to get behind that mural, you have to go into this room and then go below. Then third, the architect's repose. 'Tis an entrance that hides the entrance, a visage that conceals the vision, and there is more than meets the eye. That's an important note. In conclave there is little harm, yet it tames the beast. Seek the contradiction. He who rushes the enigma to grasp shall never its threshold pass. So that last section is just illustrating that this secret has some traps in it. So if you rush through it, you might get hit by the traps. But there's a statue with an eye that we can actually fob above an entrance that will open a different entrance. There. Then we have a readable here as well. Landlord's letter. Dear Mr. Young, with an E at the end, far be it from me to question your activities, and I am most grateful for a month's advance, but I haven't seen you leave your room lately, and you haven't answered my knocking. Are you well? Do you need anything? Are you satisfied with your lodgings? Even if your work absorbs your full attention, please visit me after you read my message. Mr. Quibb, prop, or proprietor maybe. P.S. I'm sure the rotten smell comes from another guest. I will evict him immediately as soon as I learn which miscreant is responsible. Let's just load so we can get that back where it's supposed to go. Alright, let's open this. Here we have a health potion, but also a purse. 50. Total 65. Now we have to get down here. And that can be a little bit tricky. We want to move this away. We do want to put this back the way it was. Let's see. Lift it up, maybe. To put it back after. So a hole here that'll take us down to the Lion's Head Shrine. Here's the Lion's Head. And here is who I assume to be the tenant then. And his skull is decayed, but his body has not, which is strange. Here's a skeleton. Some murals on the wall. And this is the plate that some things were offered on, I guess. Two candlesticks and a gold plate. Total 215. That's really all there is down here. Let's see, I think we should be able to get up here without... needing to stack the boxes there. So let's put these back now, which can be a little tricky. The furthest one, I don't know if we can get all the way in there. Let's do that first. This one should slip in. There. Then we don't want to bump into it. That's the problem. Oh. Good. We did get it in perfectly. Excellent. We want to move this a little bit without stepping on him. Perfect. Great. Then we want to close the window. That should be it. Now we want to drop here. So this is a courtyard that doesn't have any enemies, but Okay, so you actually take damage jumping to a rope if it's too far. No, I don't want to jump there. There. Okay. So this courtyard here is fairly secluded. There are no doors that you can fob here, or nothing that you really can pick up.
We serve.
So we are generally walking south now, which would then be through the tenements and towards the southern end of where it says tenements.
We serve. We serve.
So we do get those references from the Grail every now and then. This is blocked. Everything here is blocked off, so there seemingly is nowhere to go. Except for there is if we go up here. Here. Alright, so here we have a tobacconist's key, which we're gonna need, and a purse. Here is a sleeping tobacconist, I assume. I just want to make sure that my no target wasn't on. By accident. Because I made some noise on the table there, I was a little bit surprised that he didn't hear me. So we now have 2 keys. And those 2 keys we need to go back through the tenements and back to the gate where we started. We're going to do that a little bit later. We don't have to, but we're going to need to return the keys. We need to take them to get through this way anyway. Nothing here. Tobacconist's orders. Rack Rose. I have not been satisfied with your latest delivery. The cut of the material was coarse. The fragrance lacked the hint of bergamot oil, and the smoke was not as relaxing as usual. Alas, I suspect you did not prepare it with the care that should be put into a good mixture. I would not accuse you of skimping on the ingredients, since you know well what that would mean for you and your business. But I demand a replacement batch on the morrow, delivered to my residence in person. I either get my relaxation or my boys get some practice. You choose. X. So it took a little bit before I realized that all the letters that are signed X is from Grunt. So that helps a lot to know, because it means that the tobacconists are preparing a shipment to Grunt for his personal tobacco. So if we can poison that, put something in there that will kill him, then that will take care of the Grunt objective without actually having to bother him at all physically. And here is the tobacco. If we fob this, it gives us a little sound cue, which then should indicate that something's up. And it probably can be used. This. Up here. There's a locked door, and that does not work with any of the keys that we just got. Let me just check something here. Yeah, just wanted to make sure that they're set to hardcore. when I did my test run, I got a lot more alerts than I had to reload from. Maybe I'm just ghosting better. Not getting alerts that way. Okay. So now we are on Tar Street, just to the east of the Tenements. You see vertically written is Tar Street. So we are in the southern part, right, with the T of Tar Street. See, so let me show you this area. This is then Edward Rackrose, tobacconist. This is his front door, but it's not probable. Up here, you can actually see into a building. There is a note on the ground there, but that door seems to be blocked by something. So you cannot open it. That's the door, the locked door that we saw inside the Tenements building. Back up here, you come up to the plaza just by Penuri Gate. That's where we started, the garden, just there. We don't need to go this way right now. Instead, we're going to head in here. Locked door. Here we have a note that you can't read, but you can take the key, the clothier's key, which is for this building, a clothing store then. But it doesn't seem to be in too good of shape. Some notices here. Hey lady, you got to pay the geld if you want to keep the shop. We will come tomorrow. Your friends. Pay up or get out. You will bag your friends. Some good friends you got. Alright, so it doesn't seem like the seamstress is really in good shape here. I assume maybe this is her. Been dead for a good while. So all we really need to do here is go through this way. In order to go up here. So now we actually come into the apartment that we could see through the open window. This is the blocked door back here. This is the window. You can actually get spotted by guards outside. Here we have Nocturnal Lily Dust. That we are going to take. Then here is a dagger worth 75, total 340. The Physiognomy of Fortune. Physiognomy, by the way, is a pseudo-scientific practice of sort of evaluating a person's character or morality based only on their physical appearance, primarily the face. So it's I think it's an ancient practice that was used. I looked it up. Interesting. Being an examination of the vagaries of fate and how man might intercede in its labors, with further remarks on the philosophy of cause and effect. Bridgeport. You can't read this book, but it's just showing the title of it, which I think is cool. And then there are two more notes here. Armand. So this is Armand's apartment. It is folly Thy quarry shall not leave his domicile tonight. Beware, beware, fellow Armand, for his fate has been unwrit, and the scales of destiny are unweighted. Run while thou still canst be. A sinister missive. Fellow Armand, the matter is settled. When the bell tolls 5 and the almsmaster passes through the stairway, thou art to blow the powder of the nocturnal lilies through the grill and watch until he suffocates. If he is to survive, thou shalt rush him with thy blade and strike him dead. But ere thou art caught, shalt thou take thy own life. So it has been decided, and so shall it be done. Okay. So then we learn that the lily dust is poison. That is good to know. There's nothing else in here. Let's see. There. Now that is, you can actually take the key without fobbing the paper or the door, but now the key has been placed. It's nice with this dot in the middle because it shows you exactly where the key would be placed. So it's placed on the paper now on the inside. This is locked. So now we can actually go straight back to the tobacconist and complete that objective, just to get that out of the way. Now use the lily dust on the tobacco. We get an objective complete to take Grunt out of the equation. So the first time I played, I had already checked off this objective by killing Grunt when I just played the mission, you know, blackjack style. But then afterwards I found out by just trying the lily dust on this tobacco. But nothing happened. But of course, if you already checked off the objective, it won't give you any notification that that is what you're supposed to do. So it was a little puzzling until I realized when I started over, I just did this right away. And then of course realized that that's what it was completing. Let us make a real save. Now we are going to head to where you see in the north Bellingcourt mansion, because there is the key there in the Sentinel that we need in the tombs. That was one of the 3 enigmas. And we're going to leave this part of town now, so we need to go there next. Now we are headed up to the rooftops. This is just so fantastic. You can move through the city you know, up on the 3rd levels. This is one of the most vertical cities I've seen in the Dark Mod. This gargoyle here, I thought was one. I thought was one of the. He sees us from the other side there. I thought was one of the sentinels that the Enigma book was referring to begin with. I'm gonna head over here now. Careful of this guard here. This way, we have to head east to get to Bellingcourt, which is only accessible through that chain you see there. 2 guards down on the ground. This is Crosset Square. You can see just south of Bellingcourt. Second, gotta wait for them to move away. No, can't. That's what you want. You want to jump, but then not land on the gargoyle, but mantle up it. Okay, might have to mantle this too. Can't make that noise. So there's this is the old arsenal, and there's a guy in there too.
Great.
Difficult this.
Playing cards and drinking beer right now. Where am I? Beer right now. Where am I? Beer right now. Where am I?
Can't make those noises there. Nope. We should be able to mantle without making those noises. There we go. Now we can go across here. Can save it, because we have 2 quick saves, which I love, by the way. Oh, somebody saw me. There's the guy below here.
What's the...
He does see us there, so we're gonna have to go back. That's what I mean. Now we would have to reload a real save. If it wasn't for those two quick saves. Here's Bellingcourt. So he is some kind of art collector. Just love the sounds, love the feel and the look of this place. Every place is so unique. Gives you a different, distinct vibe. Here is the last piece of loot that I found that it took so long for me to find. I scoured inside every building and not this one. This is cool though. But there is a small gem in the eye of this. It's supposed to be a goat. Worth 100. I was missing 100 for the longest time. So that's 440. dagger here. And then we have a journal that we can read. To watch the end of one's own life, work, and lineage is no small spectacle. And to his credit, Flint has given me the best seat to see it unfold. Typical of him to see to it that I would be trapped within my own quarters, declared senile, and a threat to all unless confined like a wild beast. And typical to set a guard to make sure nobody dares bother until I starve within the dark confines of my own rooms. So end the Bellingcourts, masters of Fiddler's Hill, who had defended it with life and limb, and in the end abandoned it to neglect and ruin to live in this small mansion at the foot of what they have wrought. In my own wasted youth, I've tried to bring craft and commerce to Cinder's end, but as the guilds flourished, did also spring bitter weeds, grown into the unwashed rabble of thieves and beggars who now inhabit these alleys. When my forefathers, proud and cruel, ruled from their citadel, such carrion they hunted from horseback in the great forests, their hounds taking worthless lives as one kills vermin. But the pests have grown to overwhelm the few and the fair, till Fiddler's Hill was theirs, and I the fool to rule in their name, and sign their orders as they plundered the houses I have built. Yet, in these final days, do I see Archibald Flint's downfall as clearly as I see my twilight, set in motion by the weird that has claimed the Bellingcourts and their citadel home. How fateful to sow the seeds of one's own undoing. How foolish to seize the poisoned chalice my lineage has finally relinquished. In the dim hours before the end, I can at least taste the triumph, the utter triumph, for I can die with the knowledge that in my ruin has Flint set in motion the instrument of his own destruction. Vengeance in green shall not tarry, and ere he can see himself in the mirror of his pride, shall he be cast down by the fruits of cowardice, that in my testament leave, and so shall it be. There we go. Okay. So this guy is trapped in his own house by Flint. And in the streets you can actually see the front doors are barred open. Barred closed. So this is locked and closed. Skull in there. There's nothing in there though. So in here, you have a sentinel. Yeah, I guess that is a gargoyle after all. You have 2 candlesticks and a heavy silver key. That's the key that is going to be needed in the tomb to access more loot. So that we're going to take. We should be at 6:15 now.
The ritual can only be done in the last minutes of
Alright.
this night. If she's not available,
This
then
is a pit with
we'll just
mist
use
at the
one of
bottom.
practices.
We're actually going to get there. From below, that actually connects to the tomb. I'm not sure if it does physically in the map, but it's supposed to be, where you can drop down to where the key is used. So we're gonna have to return this key also later. I'm only taking the key I need to take. There. Can't do that. Now here. Should be able to just can climb down the pipe to get into the old arsenal that way. So here's the guard that we saw earlier, who just saw us or heard us or whatever. They see vertically very well in the Dark Mod, much better than in Thief. Plus, your hitbox is bigger, so they see. If they see the side of your body, they'll still see you. What was that? He has a broadhead arrow cannon here. We don't want that key. It's the arsenal key. See, I'm gonna show you this area. I don't think we need that key for here, but I'm gonna show you what's going on. There was a guard. Or that's actually the cook. Huh. Kitchen that is empty, just except for what he needs to cook. This window takes you back out to the square where Penura Gate is. This window here is what we saw out of from the Tenements hallway. So this is a very lit up area. You can't get in here without alerting that guy. This way, we'll come through a hallway, and here is where you can use the arsenal key to come out to the plateau right where Penura Gate is. That's the coffin over there where we can drop his body. So there's no need to take this key. But we can head down here and see what's down below. There's no loot down here. This is the lower floor of the old arsenal. This is the window where the guard was stationed earlier, out to the pipe that you can climb. Here's a window that takes you right below where we jumped over. That archer there has arrows also. Go in here. Now here's the only thing that I don't know in this mission, what works. There's an arrow down below, and there is a valve. If you flip that valve, I don't know what that does. If anyone could figure that out for me, if that has a function or not. Didn't know if it opened a passage somewhere that I don't know about. Then if you go down here, you come and just some kind of engine room. And this takes us up to another engine room. This just operates the lights in here. And this is another gate where you can use the old arsenal key. And that takes us to the square right underneath Penuri Gate. And that connects to this building here. So this whole building is the old arsenal. And there's not much in there besides the loot that we just took. Leave that key where it is and just say that that purse there is what we need. 640. So now we're going to head back south and we're going to drop to building.
Having a good night.
Here, there's an open window here.
Good night.
Just want to make sure that I don't trust myself always to remember to save before I turn that on. Drop here. This is the barristers. Nothing of interest down below, and I don't think he ever comes down below. He's only upstairs. This is an unprobable door. There's a hat. I always have to check underneath the hats, right?
What was that?
So we have to go up when he is.
It's far too cold for this time of year.
He's elsewhere.
We should warm the headlight tonight.
There's only one piece of loot in this building here.
What did I see there? What?
Yeah, no, they ain't. We can't. We have to just stay here until he goes over to a desk and has his back turned. Here. So he has some items on display here. Here's an emerald, which I assume it is. Day 113. At last, after a long search, the most precious part of the collection has fallen into my hands. That will show them. Perillian and Murquhart will be cursing their timidity when they discover that I have beaten them to the prize. After painstakingly securing the 4 crests of the Mertens family, or from the family crypt, where they were buried after their beheading, with the aid of a certain Mr. Mifflins, an independent local entrepreneur, if you will. All that remained was the crown jewel. To the uncouth, it would just be a battered old cage that would be picked up at any junkyard. But what it is to the connoisseur of the authentic, a founder of dreams, an elixir of life. Indeed, as the cage that held Orland Merton after he was sentenced to starvation, it is more than any man knowing his history could ever hope for. So that's the jewel that we took then, I guess.
Well, that's an old shape.
That is, probably.
Well, that's an old noise. What was that?
Oh, here's this.
What did I see there?
I have to go faster.
What?
There we go. So let's leave, and we can do that just by dropping to the streets here, pretty much. There we go. So straight ahead there is the seamstress store that we just raided. We climbed up there, so we're pretty close to where we were. Alright. I'm gonna make some frequent real saves. Just in case we get stuck guards and such. I'm gonna show you guys something more here. This is a door to a blacksmith's. This is then the bridge over to Dipper's Walk. We're not gonna go this way now, but the way you get into the blacksmith's is by taking his key, smithy key. You can go in here. In here there is some loot. 50 that we unfortunately have to skip. Maybe there's a way to get it. Here's a slow match that you can use to relight torches and stuff. And then there are some orders, blacksmith's orders. Blacksmith, a new job requires your attention. You should prepare 2 sturdy locks and install them on the front entrance of Messer Vitus's house. Our former burgomaster has not been himself as of late, and Mr. Flint is starting to worry he might wander off in his addled state. If Messer Vitus gives you trouble, a guard will be present to let you continue your work unhindered. Since Mr. Flint is also preparing to sell the property on the burgomaster's behalf, you shall prepare 3 sets of keys. You shall be reimbursed with the customary amount when the work is complete. And this is from Grunt then. So, the reason we can't take this purse is because we have to return the key. And I have not found a way. This key behaves strangely, by the way. If you try to place it, drop, it just gets suspended in the air wherever you are. So we would have to place it back somewhere along this area. And you can't do that from the outside. Even though you could take it from the outside, you can't return it that way. I've not been able to. So what you would have to do here is stand, lock it, quickly turn around, place it on the wall, and then get out before the door hits you. If it hits you, it doesn't stay locked. You can't block doors the way you could in a Thief. And I have not been able to ever do that. I haven't even gotten close. Just because there's not... I mean, you're talking a second, not even. So you'd have to do something like that, and then out. And I don't even know where it ended up now. It ends up in weird places. There. So you have to make sure that it ends up inside the building, close to this area, somewhat. So we either have to hold on to the key or leave the door unlocked, either which is a supreme bust. So I'm not going to do this. Here is a notice. Craftsmen and housewives alike know Powell's lantern oil is the most efficacious lantern oil on the market. While others' oils sputter, go out and produce much smoke, Powell's lantern oil is clear of all cheap substitutes and impurities. Burns ever bright due to its 5 secret additives. Beware the imitators. Only accept canisters with untampered seals and the green pelican mark. Buy with confidence straight from the source. Powell's lantern oil. Collier's Passage, Cinder's End. And that's actually down here. So now headed south on Tar Street. Somebody's offered up a rat to these statues. Here is Powell's lantern oil. We need to get up here. His key. Okay, no guards over here, heard that. Head inside. Empty restroom. Here's a slow match. Here is Powell himself. In here is a okay. Is there a... Yeah, of course there is. Purse. There. And then there's a holy water vial, actually. And there is a note. Rolled up note. Powell, here's the blessed water you asked for. Wasn't easy getting my hands on it, but I finally got lucky at St. Cinder, a tiny chapel on a side street by Ammon's Passage. Gave me the creeps, though. Place was all locked up and dusty. Nobody must have visited in years. Makes me wonder they even know it exists. For all them hammers, they can't hide it no more than their ranks are getting thinner. That gives me an idea, though. I bet you could raise me in advance. Perhaps rig up a few incendiaries or some such, and I could go hunting for the goods in the plague ward. You don't You don't seem like the pious type, so I guess the interdict don't bother you. And I wager they don't keep a tight guard no more either. Strictly legit, with Grunt's blessings for a piece of the proceeds, N. There. Okay. What's going on here? Okay, let's, did we get the loot? We did. Not sure what's happening. It should be possible to... to close that easy enough. No, I don't think we want to do that. We don't want to bump into anything else here. Like that. I don't think we want to. Okay. We'll lock that up. Good. Sleeping, and we just want to make sure we read this. A letter about bricks. Powell, I reckon the samples are blue brick, as construction material you can still see around the city, not to be confused with the stately bluestone, block-sized and much beloved by the builders and other skilled masons. The earlier form has a soapy grayish surface, and you can find it around the more squalid areas of the city. It apparently absorbs water and creates moist, clammy, unpleasant miasmas. The newer form is less apparent, since it is only one of many indistinct, rough, mid-sized brick types in contemporary use. It is perhaps only known by this morphological designation due to tradition, since the advance of construction techniques has dulled the characteristic hue into a faint hint. Your samples, however, are neither clearly old nor clearly new, more of an intermediate form. This appears to confirm Provost Storno's transition hypothesis or morphological shift in construction materials, and an existence of the hypothetical yet unseen blue brick 2A. If you present these findings at the next meeting of the Academy, I am positive they will be received with interest and advance your standing. As to your second question, my findings only serve to deepen the mystery. The Stonehead Tavern is indeed one of the older establishments in Cinder's End, predating in fact many of the townhouses. But the name is in reference to an older relief that is found on its wall, the form of a lion atop a gateway. It is undoubtedly the same that sits on the side of those disreputable tenements, and if so, it is old indeed. I suggest that the superstructure is a more recent construction than the stone base, which might have served as a fortification in those troubled periods. Let me know if you can find out more. Archibald. P.S. Have you investigated the Fiddler's Hill mystery? I reckon some of the older families should know a thing or two about those cavities and secret passages. Would greatly appreciate your help in the matter. R. So very interesting world building here. Now it did seem like it hinted to one of those Lionhead enigmas, right? Which we already found in the tenements. are not a lot of guards around here, which worries me always. And we're gonna have to return this key, and it behaves a little bit strangely. It floats, just like the one in the smithy, so you can't really place it back to... Okay, we did get a suspicion, probably from Powell when he was sleeping. So I can't really... Yeah, the key, you have to go far away for the key to sort of disappear from your active inventory. So I couldn't see my stealth stat until that happened. Okay, so we are now heading this is Collier's Passage. So we're heading to Cannon Street, which is down by the Hammerite Chapel. Which was where we're going right now. So we're going to climb up here, because we need the key to the church. Which we do not have. There's one patroller here, but he's not really that difficult. So I'm able to move around a lot easier now than what I was during my playtesting. I think that is because I really learned how to use the creep key. Creeping just reduces sounds a lot in the dark mod. You can no longer drop like you can in Thief and just hold the crouch key and be fine. You have to go slow, and although tedious, it is more logical. So this is the High Priest's apartment. So he shifts there because now his sort of state got active since we are in the room. So I think he actually stands until you activate his animation in a way, and then he lays down, but we haven't gotten an alert, as you can see. Let's see, here is a church key we're gonna need, and we're gonna need to return it as well. Here is a diary. 8:32:6. Bells repose. Dim glows draughts. Verily, it is as if the miscreant was mocking us with his brazen pagan idolatry. Can the Lord's servants know no rest, even on the day so dedicated? I had to run to and fro to remove every last trace of the placard, and surely more lurk in the back alleys to tempt the honest laborer and chaste maiden. I should set aside a small sum from mine own stipend as a reward for every bill torn down and delivered here. 8:32, Mornsday. Lights are a flicker again, no doubt the fruits of indolence. Mine eyes hurt just to look upon them. If our own domiciles are so poorly maintained, how will the commons look upon us? They shall call us beggars and senile fools, and heed not our sermons. Does not shoddy work invite the adversary, as does rotten wood invite the worm? It's a nice one. Would that I knew the trade of the machinist, or if Brother Carolus was so educated, but he is a mason, and I a carpenter. Shall I wait for weeks for relief, or suffer the indignity of hiring a lay electrician? Such was not the state of our order under Burgomaster Vitus, when honest craft and diligent trade flourished in this district, instead of the foul corruption of begging and crafts. Graft. Yet Vitus is now withdrawn, reputed to have turned to dark thoughts in his lone mansion, while Archibald Flint and his henchmen rule in his name. Flint, he is a cad and a bounder, and lowly as a slug. Would that I and a couple of faithful brothers could seize him, or at last that Grunt, who runs his affairs for him. Alas, he is elusive as a shadow and never without guard. If I could just corner one of them in an alleyway, that would be a most useful thing, and lead to many more evildoers. Verily, in my old days, thoughts strayed to kidnapping and deceit, but what use is that? The opportunity never comes, even though I have a dozen ways to make them talk. And there is much to tell, for they practice foul heresy, almost out in the open. 832, Rights Day. This day did Brother Carolus ask for repairsmen to come, but he was advised patience, for such are the shortages of skilled men, that even the abbey's muse must wait their turn. My lord, therefore dost thou try us? 832, Penitence Day. 'Tis as if the scales had fallen from my eyes. Does the Lord advise that one ought to help himself and his? Far too long did I look upon others to do the work before me. Indeed, an old man's mind can lead him astray, as does sin tempt youth, and power the grown man. I have brought here a stack of most useful manuals, so that I shall learn anew, and repair the lights. Then shall I devise a scheme against Archibald Flint, Grunt, and all their men. Praise the Lord for his insight, and grant me a measure of his diligence. So he seeks to put matter in his own hands. Isn't that noble? Okay, go down here. Don't think you can drop here without taking damage, so we're gonna have to climb. Oh, I guess we can try, but yeah, no, that's not possible. Oh. Huh.
None would dare challenge the might of the Builders' Church.
There we go. I think that guards in general in the Dark Mod, they hear better than they see. That's just my impression. So here's a little courtyard. We're going to go in there in a little bit. Church. And this artifact here looks like it's a light source, but it is not. It just illuminates, but it doesn't... If you douse these, it goes dark. So taking that loot does not make you darker, or not taking it doesn't make it brighter in here, so rest assured. And then also we have our gold plate, 1020. Yep. You can read a book here. A fugitive hath entered the home of a good man, and pleading for his life, offered his plunder for shelter. The man did consider the pricely sum, and at last agreed to give shelter for one night. Yet after his guest hath departed, the stolen riches were soon discovered in his possession, and he was ruined. Moral: be thou careful with others' sins, lest they consume thee. That was 12. 13. The foolish man did divide his tasks into 5 parts, then 7 and 10. And work did he upon each step by step, until a host of tasks he had. Yet at the hour of reckoning, when he was asked to show one work accomplished, were his hands empty, and for all his labours he received nothing. Moral, be thou focused and collected. Do not divide thy talents, for there is little to gain thereby. And as the disciples were assembled, the Master did rise to preach the fellowship of man, which would illuminate the dark places with reason's light, carve roads within the black forests, and erect outposts in towns where there were only, or once only, diffs. This he did demonstrate with constructions of his own make, simple of materials but true and sturdy. 23. Many who were there did like his speech, but none more than one fellow, who was much taken by the Master's use of form and weight. This man praised him most loudly on every corner where others would listen. But soon did he find that the Master did plan yet more buildings, different in their measures, and created with different tools. And on the next meeting, he rose to speak. 24. Why dost thou build with new measures and tools when the old have served thee well? Hast thou not forsaken and disrespected thy former work, which we praised in the streets? The Master responded, 'Tis not the tool and the measure, but the result that matters. Thou dost not praise my works, only the tools I have laid down. Truly, thou art not of the fellowship of man. 25. And he had the man driven out beyond the walls, where the willows were, and where the wild beasts devoured him. Oh, I bumped into him, I think. Alright. Let's continue past to the south side of the church, in here. Watch out for this guy. Okay, here's a beggar. He doesn't alert us. Give generously for the builder's plan. So here's sort of a contribution box. There are 2 readables in there. Difficult to get. There are 2. There. Abuse. Also, furthermore, if you are so diligent and industrious, why do the lot of you live in decrepit old buildings filled with rusty old junk? Some builders, I could sure build a better church than this stone heap with my own hands. Never mind the rest. As far as I'm concerned, all you pious old ravens can kiss my bollocks. Sincerely, S.O. Me body. Anonymous tip. Good Father, it has come to my attention that Percy Prescott, the cook at Mrs. Randall's boarding house on Hackbury Lane, is diluting the wine served to honest paying customers. It is also true that the man consorts with whoremongers and cheats at cards, and also that he has on many occasions abused the Lord Builder's name. It pains me to speak against another of my trade, but verily, I suspect the man to be a heretic and a blasphemer. This I do not say lightly, but I thought it may be important to bring this to your illustrious attention. Rest assured that even with said miscreant in prison, Mrs. Randall would not suffer for want of good cook. For I am ready to offer my skills to her benefit, with pies and roasts much better than that lowly scoundrel could ever muster. Yours respectfully, Geoffrey Seabold, cook. Trying to get rid of his competition, it sounds like. Right. Now we have a hidden, 2 hidden things up here actually. Aye. There. Don't think that guard here says here.
We
There
serve.
we go.
We serve.
Up here are 2 gold plates. Very well hidden. I did find those in my first playthrough. The loot that are up high, on ledges and windowsills and stuff like that, I typically find because I spend an excessive amount of time trying to get everywhere. And often, you know, I end up out of bounds and break the mission. Sometimes. Let's see. Down here. Okay. Make a save. Here is the button in the eye that the Enigma pointed to. That opens a hidden panel, actually. We're going to get no target back on and go see what's in there, because it's not something we need to do. That is in here. This opened. So it's not necessary to go here because there's no loot. This is trapped. And you can jump over without triggering the trap. I'm not able to do that now, but I'll try. No, I was not able to, but you can. I think you can actually crouch and jump. Then you'll be able to do it without triggering it. Here is another trap. This opens the gate, but it releases a gas trap from up here. But we can turn that off by doing this. So you can trigger a trap for Supreme. So if you want to get down here, you can do that for Supreme by avoiding those two. So this is a shrine for Lady Rowena, Master Architect in Memoriam. Halt here, O Wanderer, and remember whose hands built walls ever standing. Indeed. So Lady Rowena, of course, passed away a few years before COVID, I think. And a legend within the fan mission community for the Thief games. She has made missions such as Rowena's Curse, the Tower, and the Seven Sisters, of course, that campaign. So a nice tribute. In here, you also have a gas arrow, a fire arrow, and 3 water arrows. So you can get some goods if you want to. Now what we have to do is return the church key. And then we can be on our way. We're actually going to take the canal now. So we are basically done in the western part of the city. We still have to get into the stone head and complete the Flint objective, or the almsmaster objective in that area. And we have to return some keys, but that's... oh man. This window was open, by the way. All right. Key we can place over here. There. See, 11:20. Yep. See, we're gonna head into the canal now, and there is a ladder in that corner, so it's the quietest way of getting in there. Although it's impossible to drop into water quietly in Thief nor in the Dark Mod, I feel that the water sounds carry a little bit further in the Dark Mod. There we got hurt. There we go. Gotta catch on to the ladder. There we go. So let's make another real save in the water. So now we are east of the Hammerite Chapel in the far south. Westward says Fieldner Estate. So that's where we've dropped in right now. On Dipper's Walk, there are two enemies that have a conversation. If we can avoid triggering that conversation, then those won't start patrolling until much later. So that's why I'm taking this route into the Dipper's Walk area. We're headed north now. Here is a little service station. The hat. Oh. 2 pieces of loot, 1220, and a note. A servant's note. I convinced the master to put these old things in storage and take up collecting trophies instead of vases. Took me some time, but here it is. When you swim in, leave my payment below the stairs, and don't forget to destroy my note. There. I'm gonna put this back. It's dancing on top of the note. This is improbable door. This is Dipper's Walk here. The 2 guards, we did see them when we went to the blacksmith's front door. They're right here. So they, as long as we don't get into the streets right on Dipper's Walk, they will just stay there. And that helps us a lot, because it makes the area here a lot easier to proceed through. Here is a body with a dead man's key. And that we're going to need to take. It's actually a guy that they killed. It's the weaponsmith, I believe.
Thought I heard something.
Yeah. Take that. So you do make some noise when you emerge. this is the entrance to Fieldner Estate. So now we are right below where you see it says Walk in Dipper's Walk, right south of that, between that and the estate. So you can continue east here, or north, but I think it's blocked off in the north. Yeah. What? Strange. Didn't save it. There's a guard in Fieldner Estate. Comes out. Here are the two guards that would start that conversation. The guy that comes out, but he just stands there and then turns around and goes back in. There's another patrolling guard too. That comes right here. So with these two additional guards, it would be pretty tight here. Their hearing is, to me, a lot better than their vision.
As you say, sir.
Let's see. I don't think we can, or we really should go that way. We're gonna go up here. Take this. That's all there is in here. Sounds like it's a big place, the Fieldner Estate, but it isn't. Yeah. Don't think we can do that. I don't think we can stand down there while he is outside and then get past. I don't remember. I don't think we can. I think we're gonna wait here.
What might that be?
He's doing his job. It's good. There we go. Alright, so north of here, it's locked off. The gate there can be opened, but not from this side. And that's actually an entrance to Grunt's mansion. We're right south of Grunt's mansion right now. So we are going to go ahead and... here. Head up here. We go. And then across Melan's beloved chains.
Huh. What was
There's lots of ways you can travel across from building to building here, and a lot of hidden stuff too that that sometimes only has readables and weapons, so you can finish the mission with full loot even without ever knowing it. I think that stuff is cool. That was not what I intended to do here. That's what I intended to do. Here is a purse. There's also a spyglass. And there are some arrows in here. 2 noisemaker and 5 broadhead arrows. And there are 2 notices on the wall. Orders for night watch, 8th and 9th. News have been received of an interloper with devious intentions seeking to commit larceny and foul murder. News have been received of major trouble and possible breakout at Willets Bridge, Scissorjack, Snapneck. So that's reference to the last mission that we released. News have been received of an unknown walking the streets at night, as if in somnolent reverie. Observe and raise alarms, but do not kill. Note to Morty, check with Lindstone about the gas projectile. It has to stay next to a grate with good draft for a few nights. But we're all waiting for results, not more talk. So I don't know if I found this, what sounds like a gas arrow. Don't know if I found that, so let me know if you know which gas arrow it's referring to. I don't think I do. Head back here. Wow, so we are getting spotted here. Whoa. Jump across here. Oh, I did hear that. That I didn't hear. Okay. So, if you go through the canal there, you can't go up to the left. There's no way to mantle up there. This courtyard and door takes you into the streets east of Grunt's mansion. And if you go north, you go up to like Alderman's Gate. We're instead going to enter Grunt's by his top floor balcony. Before that, however, I'm going to read something over here. None of the good ale here can make me forget the dark look on Messer Flint's visage when I saw him disembark from a fast skiff and enter the gate below me. The man was furious like never before. One of his escorts mumbled something about a deal gone wrong. Knowing Flint's obsession with the occult, I deduced this was about that cup Foxley dug out from some old hole. But wasn't Flint buying it? Something is amiss. Word is that someone made an attempt on Foxley's worthless life. He is now like a man obsessed, blaming Flint for his misfortunes. Whatever he is doing, Flint took it seriously, and now all Grunt's men are out looking for him, as Flint will not rest until he sees the corpse. I think I will sit this one out and help myself to some more of this stuff. Bad things will be happening in the streets this night. I can feel it. Interesting. Always cool when you hear the townsfolk's impression of the story that you are going through. You hear sort of... Oh. Go up here. So there's nothing in the balcony or in the... Okay. So this is the 3rd floor. There is one guard here that I'm happy I missed because he goes out to the balcony. Okay. Love the sounds. Listen to that. It's wonderful. Let us make another real save here. Let's call that Grunt. Show you a few things in this first. Go over here. There is nothing, I believe. It's just Grunt's bedroom with a throne. And then this is a balcony that takes you out to... We're looking at Alderman's Gate now in the far north on Bindle Street. So, I'm not sure if you can get up here this way. I don't think you can, actually. And then this area is the top floor. There are 3 floors, and here is a bar door. Notice, there will be no entrance to the Red Room unless with my permission. Mr. Flint has been adamant that the effects of the mansion's former owner shall not be disturbed until he orders their removal personally. Alright, so we have to then hopefully find a different way into the Red Room, which we're going to do right now. First, candlestick. And then there are a couple of other things here. A complaint. Yes, I want to meet the boss. Right, I was doing his orders, his words, like he says, scare them a little. So, think it over. Start with stones through the window. The bloody cat's head before their door. Rude chalk messages and all that like. Then Jeffrey comes in and strangles them in their bed. Just so, and he even says it is quicker and scarier. After all the work I put into it. He spoiled the whole plan. And who gets the reward? Jeffrey. Something is not right here, and I want to make a protest about it. Okay. Alright, let's just reload here. This is another copy of the City Tribune. So we don't need that. I think it's the same one that we already read. Yes, it is. Okay. Now up here are just some items. This is actually a trap. If you flip that, there is a gas arrow that gets shot out and hits the couch. We don't need that. But here is something hidden. Oh. Grunt's key. Okay. Also, there is a panel behind here. Very well hidden. And the switch is here. We are going to have to move this vase. We're going to end up putting that back. But we're not going to do that until quite a bit later. Let's do that. Now here's a very interesting secret. Because that switch actually operates 2 panels. This panel and the panel above there. But they are on opposite circuits, so to speak. If this is open, that one will be closed. So what we have to do is we actually have to, in order to get into that panel, you have to fob this and then head out quickly. Like that. Now we block this. And now you see this opened. sure if that's the way it was intended to work, but that's the way I found it to work. So now we're in the red room. Actually. Very dark and mysterious. And here we have a skull. Now when we walk over here, the light turns on. Let's see if we can... Oh. Without the lights turning on. Turning on lights is not an issue, but if we can avoid it, we want to. Good, we can. That actually avoids the spawning of an enemy here. Actually, let me show you that. If you trigger the lights and then take it, there's an enemy that spawns here. All you can see are their eyes. So we don't want to trigger that. You can sneak out without it, but... Take the 150 here. Then we're good. Now you avoid spawning that whole thing. I don't think there's anything else in here. That was worth 150, total 1485. And we have Grunt's key as well. Yeah, we're definitely needing that. Okay. We're gonna
I care too much. That's my problem. I need to just relax.
Here's a switch for this. And up here, there is a gold candlestick. And also a flash bomb, as you can see. There. 1535.
Just go ahead and do it.
So now we come out on the middle level. You can take the stairs down that you saw in the hallway outside the red room entrance.
None of the servants would know the difference anyway.
Oh, can't do that then. Okay. We need to close this. There.
Is the sir downstairs again?
That's right. Didn't come out this whole effing day. Creepy. Builder knows what's gotten into him. Suppose getting his throat cut was bad enough, but this is not right.
So you gonna talk to him?
Not me. Wouldn't even touch the place he stashes his spare key if my life depended on it.
Here, here.
So that's an interesting conversation. It gives you a hint towards the location of his key. Or that there is a key, at least.
That's an odd noise.
Oh man, did I bump into the chair? Was that it? There.
Is the sir downstairs again?
That's right. Didn't come out this whole effing day. Creepy. Builder knows what's gotten into him. Suppose getting his throat cut was bad enough, but this is not right.
So you gonna talk to him?
Not me. Wouldn't even touch the place he stashes his spare key if my life depended on it.
Here, here.
There. Okay. There is a purse up here. There's a readable that talks about it, so I'll show you that. 50. This is the middle level. Good, we want to get into the kitchen and get a piece of loot in here. Then we want to leave pretty quickly. Without any of them seeing us. Okay, let's see.
Jumpy tonight. Relax and keep it late. That's my motto.
Stay up so late. There'll be little beasts in the morning.
Okay. Let me show you what else is going on here. This is actually the front doors. You can take out, and that's the same Alderman gate that we saw earlier. North. This is the barracks. There's nothing really of interest in here. This archer has an arrow, if you're looking to steal all those. And these stairs just take you down to a dead end. Right here. There's a cell here, but nothing else of interest.
There'll be little beasts in the morning.
So let's see. Okay. Can we maybe go this way?
Little beasts in the morning.
Yeah. You can go through that window also, but I want to go here. So we're going to take a little pit stop here, actually. We're going to come back this way to Grunt's mansion in a little bit. But I just want to show you all the areas. This is a switch that opens a gate that takes you out to Bindle Street in the far north. If we go south here, we'll come out to Grunt's middle floor courtyard. So we're going to go here and do a couple of things now before we go back this way to Grunt's. Because here is a hidden area, sort of. No, we got a suspicion there. There. Let's read this. Beggar's tip. I heard something useful on my last visit to the almsmaster. As I was sitting on the bench, waiting to pay me dues, I overheard two of his guys talking down back. Seems that they are expecting a shipment one of these nights. Pure sap that's worth enough to live on for a year. Some guard who is on the take is supposed to light a flame up on the parapets right before the skiff comes through the locks. And Quant himself will come out to the balcony to make the exchange. Kind of a long shot, but if the skiff met an accident on its way, who would know it was us? We could even grab it and board a ship bound for Wrecker's Reach with our cargo B. So I don't think that has relevancy to any of our dealings, but it's just increased world building is nice. People are betraying each other here left and right, I think. Let's move up here. So this is then the front entrance to Grunt's.
What was that?
Oh, jeez.
What did that sound?
Yeah, gotta go slow here. Just in general, it's just... Okay, so this is the entrance to Tin Tankard, which is an inn. So we're gonna head in there right now. Normally I wouldn't take this route. But I'm going to because we need a power station key. Room for rent. 5 a day, 30 a week. No deposit. Wanted, men of adventure and resource for very advantageous nighttime job. Must bring own equipment. Ask for no-nos. He doesn't sound too safe.
Like that.
So I'm gonna go through the restaurant right now and head down to Dimwall Fair. Because there's a patroller there with the power station key. There is a second copy of that key, but that's on a wall and you can't replace it back to the wall. So I don't want to... I don't have to take that. So this is a little bit of... not backtracking, but a little bit of a detour from what I would prefer to do. But now, if we take this key, which we're gonna have to take anyway, then we make through only touching one of those two copies, and the other copy can't be returned exactly where it was anyway. You have to sort of throw it on the floor as you... or drop it on the floor below. See. This is the power station right here. So we're gonna come out from that door, and that's when we need to lock it behind us. This guy has the key right here, not this guy, but that. Gotta wait for him to come by us and then we can snatch it.
Can't even have a drink before going on duty. An intruder. Can't even have a drink before going on duty.
Power station key, there we go. So they always give alerts, remember, to their pickpockets being lifted. That is not a bust. It's a scripted response. And it doesn't alert or change the alert state or anything like that. They stop for a moment and feel their pockets. Do the same thing at D3, don't they? That's all we needed to do down here. We'll cover the rest of the restaurant later on.
The grail of regret.
Oh. Go slowly out of this door.
If you see anything, let me know.
Okay, so this is the weaponsmiths. And that's what we need a dead man's key for.
We serve. We serve.
Don't step on this mat. because that'll trigger a, I think it's an arrow trap or something like that. You can disable the trap by switching this one. Some coins and a few coin stacks here as well. And then there's also 3 water arrows, 2 noisemakers, 5 broadheads, a fire, a gas arrow, a mine, and a flash bomb in the shop here. Lots of equipment if you're interested. Oh, we accidentally stepped on it.
Quiet night.
There is no one. There is no one. There is no one.
There we go. Careful. Then we come down here. And here are some valuable pieces of loot. Some kind of a pendant. And a ring as well. Total 1815. And there is a journal, weaponsmith's notes. Forger's Day. Got another bunch done and shipped out. Used to be the Navy buying grapnel arrows, but now I'm selling them to carpenters who want a safe way to clamber up the scaffolds or tear down old roofing. And all sorts who are into exploring hazardous vents and crumbly construction. Some of these strike me as housebreakers, but who am I to tell? Alas, money is money. All that matters is that I am out for now, and will need to order materials for more. Bell's Repose. Just when I finished mounting 2 of the new fire crystals, got a knock from Grunt's men, all a hurry for some emergency or another. Gave them the crystals as a bonus to honey up the deal. If I get on good footing with Grunt, I might end up a supplier for the boys up at Fiddler's Hill, where the real money is. For now, I can probably delay the Grady shipment long enough to catch both commissions. Morn's Day. Payment came quicker than usual, with a letter from Grunt himself. Seems they got a good use out of those incendiaries. Burned down some poor idiot's tenements with them. Grady can wait for his shipment till I run my new errand for Grunt. Rights Day. One of the new crystals broke while I was mounting it on the shaft. The Cretans heating up the vent must be using poor coal or spreading the materials unevenly. Should speak to their foreman these days, recommend floggings. Penitence Day. So much for Grady's deal. I'm left with the wares, but I bet I can just unload it on my new clients. Grady thought he could corner me, let him look helplessly as I corner him, and boil with envy when he sees beautiful Matilda on my side, charmed by the new jewelry I got her. That'll show him. Well, I don't think you'll show her the jewelry. There we go. Now we also have a furnace here. It's the furnace he talked about. You can climb down that. There is a door to here that you can open. I have never, though, been able to go down here without taking damage. Or up it, for that matter. And you can't douse it, I think, either. This is actually the power station that we'll get to a different way a little bit later. So this is not a trip we can take up or down, I think, without damage. We're gonna head out here. Oh, here's a guard that is stuck suddenly. Well, that does not matter because we're not heading up there at all. That happens. So yeah. So that's a guard that goes in onto Bindle Street. And in fact, I will show you what's on Bindle Street right now. Which is here.
Probably gonna be nothing left in the kitchen.
And it breaks immersion here to see this. But it happens. So here we have a gate, and then a closed gate as well. Here we do have a button that we can actually shoot. But then that gate closes, and this opens. Now we actually come to Crosset Square, where there's a note. No deliveries through this door upon master's order. See front gate guard for admittance. So I think this is the back door to Grunt's. So this is Crosset Square. We were up there and went to the Bellingcourts. So that's one way of doing it. Another way is to go up here. Come into this location. And up here there are 2 mines, 5 broadheads, and 3 water arrows. Mines are in here. Arrows are up there. And here you can flip some switches. Don't know which is which, but...
The Grail.
You can do that.
Regrets.
And yeah, that opens one. So we should only have opened the right one, I think. And then you can leave them both open. But then you have to go back and close them. And that's not possible and still get to the back to the western side of the city. So we're not going to do any of that stuff. There is a notorious problem that enemies occasionally do just lose sight of their pathfinding or something like that, and they don't know where to go, and there's no way to free them back up. That is a problem in Dark Mod that I have experienced since I started playing this mod. Seems like it happens more on bigger missions and with a lot of reloads. Now we gotta close this gate there. Was this door closed? Or was it open earlier? I'm gonna go back and check that real quick. Back to this one. Then I can just do that and run down and see. Because it seemed strange that I'd left it open.
Is the sir downstairs again?
That's right.
Yeah, it was closed. Good.
He's been here as long as I have.
Okay. Now we're gonna end up taking the last pieces of loot on this floor. Back in Grunt's now. Here. So here's a readable anonymous note under the bed. I left your customary share in the Fiend's Claws. So that's the purse that we took on the mantelpiece. Nobody is looking now that they are chasing that guy. Keep your eyes open to see if there's anything else they wouldn't miss. Could try the guest room if you are alone on your shift. Must be a reason it's all locked up. It also connects to Grunt's study through that badly concealed passage. But I could never figure out how the second grate works. I could hear a sliding noise when I pulled the lever, but the damn thing was still closed. We may need a crowbar there. So that's a hint to how those vents or panels work, and that there is a panel that takes you to that guest room, which is the red room then. Okay, up here we have some coin stacks. 1835. We have a mansion key. So the mansion key opens all the doors except for the door that leads into Grunt's basement. So Grunt's key is making this key obsolete, I believe. I think they open the same doors.
2 weeks of privy duties.
Note to self, wisdom prevails over death.
Liquor on his breath.
And then there's melancholic letter. Barlow, hate to disappoint you, but that girl is not for you. Heard it from accurate sources she is slowly dying of some fever or such, and only the drafts are keeping her alive for a little while more. Brave, but always a little foolish, if you ask me. Not much fun to be had on Fiddler's Hill now either, I'm afraid. Flint's become withdrawn, all suspicious-like. Once you could just go on in and have a talk with him, but now you need an appointment, and not even Grunt can get you in if the boss doesn't want it. A lot of the men around him are strangers, too. New and unfriendly faces. I think he fears for his life, but for what, I cannot fathom. This fellow Foxley he is hunting for now, he is your typical lightweight if there ever was one. Pay him off, and he'd never turn up again. Would tell Flint that, if I could see him, but if he's afraid of rank amateurs now, well, so I remain Grimold. There we go, and those stairs just take you back up to the hallway on the second floor. Now we can go back here. Now we can go downstairs to the basement.
That's an odd shape.
Okay, we can't do that, I guess.
They better ask me next time before they just go ahead and do it.
There we go. Okay. This door here opens with both the Grunt's key and the mansion key. That takes you down to where you can open the gate back to Dipper's Walk. You can open it with this. And this also accesses the canal if you need to. This is an area that we don't need to go at all.
The grave of
Music picks up. We're getting closer to Grunts. Okay. Supposed to be a guard here. There's the guard. I think that is very bad news because I don't know if we can drop down here without him hearing us. Oh, we might be able to. Okay. Guard also is stuck. What is with all these stuck guards? Just so odd. Well, at least both of the stuck ones are stuck in very convenient positions for us. It doesn't make it very realistic. What was suggested, actually, in the chat for the last Penny Dreadful mission was that it should be allowed for Supreme, if a guard is stuck, to spawn a distraction arrow or noisemaker arrow, shoot that so that the guard gets attracted to that arrow, because when he settles down he will resume his patrol. Plus those arrows will not trigger any stats, so the stat will be shown as full 0. And you're not removing any arrows from the world. You're just spawning one in your inventory to fix the problem. And I agree. This is such a notorious problem in the Dark Mod that if that becomes a problem where a guard look straight at you and you can't supreme a mission, it should be allowed to free him up. And they don't go into any kind of greater alert state because of that. They just get alerted to the arrow and then resume quite quickly, I think. So that actually was discussed with Sneak, the creator of the Supreme mode, a long time ago, but I remember he said that even in Thief, if there is a guard that is stuck and you can free him in you know, by pushing or some kind of predictable way without them seeing or hearing you, then that is okay, because it's a problem that is beyond your control. So anyway, my 2 cents. Okay, we're gonna head into, this is Grunt then, right here. We're gonna head into his quarters and get some stuff and read some stuff. These are the tombs below here. He has been digging to excavate the tombs. So I just wanted to make sure we could drop there without getting heard by that guard, because normally they have to be a little bit further away for that to be safe. Bottle, goblets. Over here is a health potion and a vase. Oh, you saw that. Where is he seeing us? Anyway, let's read everything in here. So first we have a scroll here. Flint's letter. My friend, permit me the freedom to bring you a piece of good news. Indeed, the news that you have waited for with such patience. Forget for the nonce the vexations hounding our endeavors, and relish the fact that the key to the mysteries beneath Fiddler's Hill is in our grasp. Such wonders I have already seen, such enigmas that lay concealed, known only to a few men like Vitus Bellingcourt, carefully kept under wraps. So Vitus Bellingcourt is then the previous burgomaster, isn't it? That Flint is trying to take over. That's why he's locked him up. And what else may be there? The secrets to restore your lost voice, or understanding to set my mind free from the shackles of my doubts, all for the taking, and the Grail to lead the way. Be alert for now, and extirpate that petty assassin stalking me, but fear not that I shall forget. When the time is ripe, the gate I will open, and lead you on to more wonders than you could imagine. Yours, Archibald Flint. Message about a search. Boss, try we did, but could not find him for all your bounty. We scoured the streets, and wide scoured the waters with this barge and pole, but no sign remains. The attic rattlers have come up empty-handed, though they report a secret compartment up in the tankard, unreported and without your protective mark. That's interesting. Whoever this Foxley is, he is far away from these haunts, and I'd wager he has already left the city, rat that he is, or cowered in one of his holes. 'Tis your call, but the men believe the search is a folly, and we will find no sign of him, Wilmot. Let's see. And also search order. Wilmot, it is not your call to question when I ask, and I ask most firmly, with Mr. Flint's full authority to conduct the affair. Foxley is about, I know it to be certain, and you and your men shall not rest until his body is brought before Mr. Flint. Or you can offer your proof of his demise. As long as I live and Mr. Flint trusts me to run his errands, you will obey, and you shall not cease your vigilance. Failure is not an option. Wilmot, not in Mr. Flint's service. X or Grunt. There we go. I think that's all the... all the readables over here. It's just empty stuff. On top of that bookshelf, you have 2 moss arrows and a gas arrow. Gas arrows are hard to come by, so very useful, obviously. Okay, so there's a gate in the distance. That's not probable. It just is a different entrance to this area. So they heard that too. This is not good. There. Sometimes when you drop, you don't make a sound. Let's see. We're gonna make a save there. I'm actually gonna go back to this save game and make another real save here. Just because this is a little bit of a junction. And then we're gonna go back to this save. So now we dropped into the tombs below Grunt that he's been trying to excavate. You can hear there's some undead around. There are. There is in the water here. Is sort of a pit where you can go down, where the water sort of disappears, but there's nothing else in the water. And if you go down to that pit, it's endless, I think. There's one skeleton that hurt us just now, and there is one zombie, I think, in the tombs. Okay. Up here you have a moss arrow. That too. I always think because in Thief, dirt and moss is always silent, but in the dark mode, if you run pretty much on any surface except for carpet, you'll get heard. So this is reminiscent of Mission 1, maybe.
There is no one. There is no one.
Okay. Come down to the bottom here, you have exactly the same type of sentinel that you saw in Bellingcourt's mansion. That's why heavy silver key works on the lock. That opens this. That takes you down to the bottom of the pit below Bellingcourt. So at least I assume that's what it's supposed to be. Where there's bones, but there's also a couple of pieces of loot. A bracelet and a crown. Total 2,200, and that checks off the 2,000 loot goal. That up there. So that's
They have forsaken us.
and that got locked.
The Grail of
Good. So we have basically gotten what we came down to the tombs to get. So if you don't find that heavy silver key or don't realize that that's where it's supposed to be used,
by the faithless Grail.
then the tombs have no loot in them. So that's what made me think that there's something going on down here. So I scoured the bottom area and found that lock. And then I went looking for the key, and when I saw that other statue that's the same in Bellingcourt, it made sense. But a very clever puzzle. Yeah, here's the zombie. Okay, we're coming up on a move that is going to be quite difficult. It's the only place in the mission that has such a challenge for us. Here are 3 more moss arrows, by the way. This is just the way out. There we go. Here. So here's a collapsed room, it seems like. And lots of blood. Washroom. And then somebody who's gotten crushed, it seems, by boxes. Melan always has a room with boxes in his mission series. The box maker has been referenced in several of his thief missions. So anyway, here is then the way out, and this takes us up to the power station. We came out of the furnace earlier, and that's our exit. Here's a readable. Perry, keep out of it if you know what's good for you. Storage is condemned, and ever since Gowan got buried under falling junk, the boss been fidgety about paying the geld for yet another grieving widow. There's nothing valuable there, and the noises you're hearing, they are probably just big rats. If you get bitten, crushed, lost, or eaten, it is your problem, not ours. This is your only warning. Okay, so this obviously is outside the gate, and there's no way to open it from this side. So what we have to do here, we have to be able to switch this and run up the stairs and get into the room with the door closing behind us. Because there's no way we can get back up from the tombs. There's no rope arrow to climb up to Grunt's. And there's no other exit from here. The door in the furnace is on this side, and the furnace we can't even use. So we are going to... do this, and then we are gonna run up. Now you have to... I have never been able to just run and get out without hitting the door. But if you jump, then occasionally you scoot up quite quickly if you don't hit your head on the ceiling and whatnot. So that is what we're gonna do. This might take a few tries, or it might be quick, I don't know. That's how you're supposed to do it. Close. There we go. That didn't take many tries at all. Good. So now we have locked it, sealed everything shut, and taken the loot from down there. Perfect. Let's make another real save there. This is then the furnace that goes back up. Okay. So here's the other copy of the power station key. And this we can't place back on the wall. We have to drop it on the floor below. So that's why I didn't want to even touch that key. Thought it was much better to just... to use this key, and then we can drop this on the ground here. That's allowed to for Supreme. There we go. Both of these guards are...
Yeah.
seemingly not stuck. Let's go this way. So we're now headed, so we're now in the far northeast, Dimwall Fair. So you can see the central building. We're going to walk clockwise around that along Black Dog Row. Far northeast. I returned the key, right? Yes. Can't get into this building here from this, from the streets. This area here is, is a little bit more, not empty, but a little bit less, a little fewer buildings you can get into, I would say. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong there. Okay, good. Last time there was a guard stuck up here when I did my practice Supreme run. There was only one stuck guard there. And he was over here, facing east, which is directly where we're facing now. And he was a big, big problem. He's not stuck now, so I think all the guards in this area are intact, or where they're supposed to be. Okay. Over here, this is a keeper symbol, a key. And here is Armand's key. That's the key to the door where we found the nocturnal lily dust. The door that is blocked from the inside. So this key is a red herring. Because even if you use it, you can't get into that room. But there is a cryptic note. Fellow Eirik. Fellow Armand has been observed receiving a missive from an unknown party, possibly proof of his suspected heterodox proclivities. Thus you shall infiltrate his premises on Tar Street, search his personal effects, and counter his actions if they be judged a threat. The key supplied shall be of aid to open his locks. So it has been decided, and so it shall be done. Okay. We are gonna mantle up here. Yeah. Get this one. Oh, not that. There's a vase. We can mantle this through this window. Here. Here's a sleeping lady. Here's some sheet music. Bracelets. 3 goblets. Total $23.95. Oh, what's going on here? Here's a door you can't fob, and if you head downstairs, this is the main entry door. And there's a plea. Master Harvey, please, you must help me, I beg of you. It was not right to steal your money like that, but now I'm in trouble. I thought it would be a carefree life, but they have taken almost everything I could earn. The almsmaster, he grew up an orphan like me, but he has no love for the people serving him. Oh no, he's a cruel monster, Master Harvey. Your beatings I thought painful, but now I have seen what the beggars get. I beseech you, let me return under your ward, and lend me 80 good silvers to pay off my debt. That, or I shall soon be dead. Oh, I am afraid, I'm so afraid. I will pay you a visit when I can, your penitent repentance, Yarick. Right, not sure what's going on there, but... window was open, right? Okay, so this is the stairs out of here. This gate here is closed. There's no way you can open that even. Okay. He heard us, I think. We are not very dark here, so... They give a little delayed remark. Okay, now also some pieces of loot that are very difficult to find in here. Five coins. In this pot. 2,400. Oh yeah. Okay, now we're gonna climb back up again to the tin tankard for the last time. He can't decide where he's gonna go here.
What was that?
Oh, did they hear me? I should have saved. These lit up street sections, you have to crouch. I tap my crouch key. No, tap my creep key, rather. Okay. Now there's a hidden building here that you can get to. Wow, I got 3 suspicions just from that. Oh, I actually could. Too. Okay, then we might have to just crouch. Jump over here. You find a balcony that doesn't have anything, except for it has the entrance to this building. Which is a Hammerite nobleman or something. Building 80 in this artifact, and then there's a readable. Old book, the spectacle of diligence, aptly presented through certain parables which shall be beneficial to mind and soul for the fullest healing of the spirit. now revealed to the public by the Lord Builder's own church, and printed by his disciples in the Builder's print works at Wrecker's Reach. 1. Man's life is short and beset by toil, so say the false preachers whose recipe is idleness. Yet is it not our purpose to toil and to achieve? Wisdom is our calling. We shall not bend our back like a common servant. So those whose burden is everlasting, shall we shirk the tasks which carry us ever forward and lift us up? 2. To these false words we say, striving makes the man and saves him from an empty and wasteful life. For what is a palace without a just sire but a fortress undefended, bereft of soldiers and shrewd engineers? What is a library that serves no end, but a mortuary for dead thoughts? Is not the hand that wastes good quill and ink on useless trifles misguided and impotent? Be a man of diligent works and practical thoughts. Live for construction, and you shall be one of my children, lifted up from the dull earth. There. Very interesting. You're a wise man. Here. See, he's building some mosaic windows or something. And here are a couple of notes inside his door. Hey, old man, pay up or we will smash your fancy glass windows, your friends. Hey, Pops, it is dangerous to operate in this market, so pay up, your friends. This can be tough. Oh. Okay, we don't want to do that. We want to land in the mantle here. There, now we want to head back into the restaurant. Okay, let's head upstairs now. There was a readable that talked about there's a secret in the tin tankard. In here, empty room it seems like. Okay, here's sword under the bed, and then thieves' correspondence. We must reschedule our meeting. 4 of Grunt's guys were here and all but raided the place, searched all the rooms, even found Gilby's hiding hole in the attic. Lucky him wasn't there, since they were none too happy about it. Didn't keep their mouths shut either. 2 of them were talking about hitting that carpet merchant in Chimney Pot Hollow tomorrow, led by Grunt himself. None too afraid of the builders they were, to contest them openly and getting the big guy involved. But they calculated there'd be no more than 1 or 2 guys, not a whole company. And right they are. If Father Peabody croaks, they'll have to shutter the church on Cannon Street for all the people who still go there. Methinks we could shake them down for a few coins after their job, or spike their drinks a little. Why go taffing for the score when the score comes a taffing to you? So here is a window that actually takes you out to Dimwall Fair. You can go into this window from the outside. And in here there is a panel in the ceiling. Attic here. There's not a whole lot. Except there's a gold candlestick worth 50. I guess they didn't find that when they found his hidey hole up here. That's all. So this wasn't... This was just located above the hole. It wasn't actually sitting in any kind of... socket. Okay. Move this back into the corner here. I've got 2530. That's what we're supposed to have. No, I don't need to open that door. Now we can leave this way. That takes us back to the stairs that goes down to Dimwall Fair, so we're not going to go that way. We're going to go over here. So now we're headed south. So now we are going... wait, are we going south? Yeah, we are going south. So we're headed, if you see where it says Small Factors Guild on the far right side, defunct, there is an alley that goes under or between Dimwall Fair and Morgue Street. That's where we're at right now.
Don't want any trouble.
Here's a beggar. And now we come down to where it says the almsmaster's house on Morgue Street. Almsmaster. So let's try the front entrance, shall we? Well, quite a few loot items in here. Letter of deposit. Deposit by Kedwell, Tarbin, sum of 37. In miscellaneous coinage. With the breakdown of warden's dues 9, almsmaster's dues 12, clerk's dues 2, poorhouse deposit 5, for return of 9 to be paid in good coin when request is made in person or per procurationem. N. Wimes, comptroller, on behalf of almsmaster Quant. Well, these are locked.
I've got nothing for the likes of you.
Here's one of the patrollers in here. He has an arrow, if you're looking for that. So we can't go into the almsmaster's area from that way. $25.67, that's correct.
What?
Okay. Now down here is the smugglers. This is a dead-end alley, I think. Yeah, just an engine room here. Locked as well. Here is the smuggler, and he has a key you can take, smuggler's key, but we don't need to take that key. And taking a key off someone's belt when it's not necessary is something I really try to avoid.
Can I hear something?
As much as I can. So where's that going to climb up here?
can't blame that one on me. It wasn't even there.
There. Now we're above the almsmasters. This door is also locked, so you can't go in there. Oh, somebody sees me here too. Well, that's where I want to go right now. We're going to start climbing some rooftops. At least we're going to try. This isn't a good start. Climb the parapets here. Here is a fire arrow. And a cannon. Let's climb up here. So now we are above the canal in the far east. East of Morgue Street. Morgue Street ends here. So this is the canal section on that side. So that can take us to another balcony. Now I'm going to first go over here, take some damage here. You can find a hidden balcony back here, which is kind of interesting. And here are 2 more fire arrows. I don't know though, but I don't think there's a way to get to this without taking damage. That would be a nice challenge. I haven't been able to do it, so I'm not going to make it an official ghost challenge. But can you guys get to this area here? Because here you can't climb up. So I don't know. You have to get to the roof you see there. So it's in the far northeast. East-northeast. We got spotted there. Here, a bottle of wine and a book. Book of Dark Poetry. The Thief's Reminiscence. So I have done my business, these shadow politics within these dark walls, in endless rains, with snow as sole witness, beyond secluded passages, past the vanishing point, my companions the unseen, dancing to the black parade of dark melancholies. This is very interesting. These are the list of all of Skaki's missions, basically. I have not played Vanishing Point or the Unseen. Vanishing Point is on my list. On my short list of missions that have become quite a long list. So that's a nice reference to Skaki there. Dark poetry, indeed. Back across here. Go this way. This is just great here. Look at that. Generators. Now you can go this way if you want to. You can drop down here on this side to go further south. We're not going to do that. Also go this way if you want to.
Mine, all mine, 'tis all.
And then you come down on the other side here. You can get to the smugglers this way. We're going to come out there, so we're not going to go that way. We're in instead going to drop here. We can drop into the canal. Oh, somebody heard us. Huh. Okay. There's a wreck down here, or a boat. So now we are headed down south and west again in the canal. We're now basically done except for the almsmaster and the smugglers. If we go here, so now we are actually in the far south. Just south of the almsmaster's house, that red X, or red circle with the X. You can see there's canal right below that. Here. We can get into the almsmaster this way. So that avoids having to take any key. So that's nice. The locked door. There's an almsmaster key, I think, but we're not going to take that.
Playing cards and drinking ale right now.
Okay, that's where we need to go. There's the archer we saw earlier.
It's still better than cleaning the sewers.
Did not mean to jump there. I hit the wrong button. Whoa, are we...
Hey!
Yeah, we might get a little...
What made that sound?
That was the sound he reacted to.
Huh?
Can't do that, okay.
Did I see something?
Something moved. That's...
Can we hide there, maybe? Here? I don't know. Seems like we can. So there is the almsmaster key on the table. There's also another readable on the table.
rough day, huh?
Okay. He's deciding he's just going to end now.
I'm always the last person.
Something moved.
Let's take this and read this. With all due respect, sir, I believe there is skimming going on. The flows are not bad, and the searches reveal nothing, but I just feel it. They lighten your pockets, they do. Beggar scum that they are, ungrateful despite being under your protection. One lead that I have is how many of them stop by the Potter next to the tankard. Is that collusion? No evidence, but if you could just have the place watched.
What was that?
Oh. See. Okay. So what else do we have in the almsmasters? Let's drop here. This is back up to his room. Up here
That's it. You've had it now.
is down out to a balcony. This is a
Die, you.
cabinet that's completely empty. And this is to the front entrance, where the gate was. You can't get into the door. You can't get into the room beyond where the money was on the counter. Here is a bottle of wine in this engine room. $28.17. Nothing else in here. That's basically it, the almsmasters. Let's take you out the door close to where we climbed up. And this switch opens a gate that makes you able to leave via the canal if you want to. We're not going to do that, because we are going to open this switch. Oh, they heard that. Let's see. Close this from the other side. Good. So this is actually a hidden section that can take you to and from the almsmaster and the smugglers. Notice. Message came from Grunt. Don't look like the usual malarkey. Better pay notice to it. Fiddler's Hill is all up in turmoil since that cup business. Maybe send out your beggars to ask about Foxley? Can't hurt. Even the blind ones have better eyes than the watch are. Almsmaster's orders. Almsmaster Quant. Mr. Flint is adamant that you continue to put an effort into apprehending our quarry. He should be your primary concern. You can't mistake him. Apparently he is almost your spitting image. If you don't do your duties, I may be tempted to send your carcass up to Mr. Flint in his stead. His nocturnal lilies would surely appreciate the improved soil in his cellar, and you would actually be useful for once. Do not think your plaything off a title means a thing without our continued support. That's from Grunt. And here we have wortroot sap. These are actually worth 50 each. 29.69. 67. And we can continue this way. should take us to the smugglers. Here's a bottle of wine. This is the wine cellars. Huh? Oh, ho, ho, ho. This is where we saw the smuggler through the window.
So bloody hungry I am.
From the front door, we're gonna head upstairs. Up here you have 4 water arrows and a noisemaker arrow and a letter. There's also a health potion on the shelf there. Beg your pardon, sir, but didn't you order me to follow this trail to the end? Hargrave's operations are not at all done. They are in full swing. All my evidence says he is still a city lantern seller. I say we just watch a bit longer. Sniffs out his warehouses, lights them on fire, sir. With your permission, of course. Now then, I also prodded Quant a little about Foxley. Just gave him your message. It will send him a jump, a scamper, that I'm sure. Coward that he is. His beggars will find your man. They see all in this city, they do, are. Okay, so that was actually, I think, his response to the orders from Grunt, which we can read here. This is not going to work. I've invested considerable effort into investigating the matter, but he is simply not to be found. I'm starting to think he has bailed, and the whole affair is over. I don't appreciate the idea of being bested, though. If something at all comes up, I will be ready to dedicate full attention to this again. For now, you can also focus your attention on more urgent things. So this is a notice to the smuggler from Grunt. And this is the notice that we are going to leave in the coffin, because then Flint thinks that this is Grunt's order to him not to worry about us anymore, about Foxley. And that'll actually end up checking off the almsmaster Quant. So we're now going to throw Flint a lie, basically, saying that they are giving up on hunting us. Well, maybe Grunt is, but silk spools, levy paid. Spring locks, levy paid, permit issued. Silk spools, levy paid, and glass lime, levy paid. Here's a health potion. Okay. We can drop into the canal. And now we can swim west. Now we are going to... What? Getting out of the water seems to be making more noise than getting in. was heard. What is happening? Okay, so now we need to close this. There, because we blocked it. We need to put the vase back. Where we found it. And we need to return Grunt's key. Place that actually in there. Yeah, there we can. And we're going to leave through the balcony again. Come on, man. Whoa. I'm not sure what's happening here, but you guys can probably see the slowdowns as well as me. I'm not sure if we can drop here without being detected. I think we can. We're going to go all the way over here now. We're going to return the dead man's key, or the weaponsmith's key. There. And now we're going to listen to that conversation between those two guards.
Ah, done yet. Yep, he's gone. Don't say a word to anyone.
I'm with you. If they realise we got the wrong guy and just killed him,
Well, he was wearing a hood and everything. Didn't know he was just leaving the tavern, did we?
you know what Grunt would do with us if he learned. I'm telling you, not one word.
Yeah, you can bet your head on it.
Hey, that's no joking matter. He's in the water, we didn't see anything happen, things all tied up, all's well that ends well.
There. So they were just talking about the guy that they killed, thinking that it was us. At least I think that was the gist of the story.
What's that?
Whoa. There's some loot up here.
Something.
There. And then if you...
Huh, noise.
go over here, you can find a fire arrow as well. Is that, oh, it looks like it's just the ripples in the water, but we're gonna have to drop into the water again here. So now our next job is to return the 3 keys we have. Heavy silver key, tobacconist key, and tenements key. There we go. So that we're going to do now. We have one other place to visit at the end, and that's the Stone Head. Oops.
The Grail of Regrets.
Good. That archer is still there. I suspect he could get stuck. That wouldn't be good for us. No, no, no. We can't be crouching.
At least the streets are pretty quiet.
So we can't paste the key back in the statue's mouth. But we can place it just in the grass below. The nearest logical place is okay.
The ritual can only be done in the last minutes of a good listener. If she's not available, then we'll just use one of the elder apprentices.
Didn't hear that drop, so that's good. Okay. There. That's logical. As if it just fell out of the statue's mouth there. sees me.
Probably gonna be nothing left in the kitchen when I get there. What I see there.
Oh, that was a nice jump. Okay. God heard me there. There, so now we're going to go back through the tenements and return the tobacconist's key and the tenement's key. Let's see what way we're going to put it like that. That's the way it was. There. Sounds good to me. Although it's right outside his window, he normally does not alert to that.
Down by the faithless grail.
So now, oh yeah, remember this was the problem here. Come on. There we go. Okay, so this is then the tenements.
Somebody's been messing.
Oh, he is right outside the door. Whoa. Gotta wait for him to leave.
Stand here, stand there. Oh, and for fun, you can walk around in circles.
Okay. Is he stuck there?
What's going on around here?
No. Was he? Okay, let's Let's try no clip and see what's going on. Yeah. Can you believe it? Of all the things that could happen, how are we going to fix this? So this is where we need to... So I'm flying through the air now. This is where we need to drop down. Okay. That is so odd. I don't think there's a way of getting into the tenements by any other way. So let me check a little bit, and let me see a cut in the video here. I'll check what I can do. Let me make it real safe first. Alright, so a few days have gone by. Didn't have time to check this out until now. But what I ended up having to do is actually go back to this save game. Number 7. I just went back to each save game and then no-clipped to this point, and sometime between this and this save game, he got stuck. So I've replayed now, and if we reload this one, we should be back in the room, or right outside the room where we need to drop the key, and he should be patrolling. So if we go out here now, he is not here. I think he's on his way. So I basically had to go back to where we emerged from the power station again and redo all that without any alerts, as you can see. But I want to go back to what I talked about earlier, that this happens so frequently in the Dark Mod. I mean, it's 2 or 3 times a mission if the mission is medium to large. And in Thief, it only ever occurs maybe once every 6 to 8 missions or something like that, which is a frequency that's totally fine. It's bearable. We want to drop this along his patrol route, right? There. So it was discussed and sort of semi-agreed upon in the early days of ghosting for Thief. So I think that it totally should be legitimate to, if you can in a stealthy fashion, release these enemies from their stuck behavior without sort of affecting the stealth score and not taking advantage of anything that you do. I think that that should totally be allowed. If I could have, you know, shot a noisemaker or something that doesn't affect the stealth score and released him, then I would not have any problems with anyone doing that. I mean, it's something completely out of your control, and it's a buggy engine that causes it to happen, so he just bumped into the key, I think. They do that, that's fine.
What did I see there?
So we have to wait for him to come by, I guess. We have to drop down to the streets here. We have to now head into the stone head, but we can't go through the furnace area. Oh, wow. I think he saw me there too. So yeah, I almost think there should be, maybe not in the rule set, but there should be almost an unwritten acceptance of, if you can free up a stuck guard without taking advantage of it, just to reset the map to the way it's supposed to be. Especially in this case, because, you know, this blocked my run here and I wasn't able to supreme. So let me know what you think, but I think it's silly when the game engine starts to ruin your runs because it's bugged. And this isn't a bug that is sort of 1 in a million or even 1 in 100. It's, like I said, several times a mission, at least when I play. I think it does get exaggerated when you reload a lot and when the mission is very big. Maybe when you go far away and then enemies sort of have to be shut off in the engine from their patrol. And then when they resume the patrol again, maybe there's something that gets messed up. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about the engine as far as they heard this. As far as how the game sort of detects or creates these stuck situations. Oh, back there. Gotcha. Didn't see that guy. Anyway, we have to head up the way that I showed you from the east earlier through the door. Only the archer comes up here ever, so. The streets in general in this mission is, as you have seen, quite tough. You can find a way around the map in buildings or on the rooftops like we've done, stayed away from the streets as much as possible, then it becomes a lot better. Here we go. So this is Penuri Gate. Here we have a notice. Men, let it be known that this coffin has been prepared for the cadaver of the petty thief Gerald Foxley, who has been spotted lurking around this neighborhood. Also, let it be known that on Mr. Archibald Flint's good name, I'm offering a full purse to those who could fetch and deposit his sorry corpse in this present container.
Killed for this time of year.
Alright, so we are then going to drop the smuggler's orders in here. And that will take care of the objective, killing the almsmaster. So we've now tricked Flint into thinking that Grunt has given up on his search. And even if that's what he meant in that order, it doesn't mean that he wanted Flint to know. Right, so we're going to head in here. This is then the furnace. And here is a bedroom. Let's see. So here we have to actually... to the attic. Up here is a purse and a gold goblet. And that is 3147. That is 50 below the loot total, because we skipped the purse in the blacksmith's shop. There are two readables up here. Drake's letter. Lucius, the big boss is alright, just going through a phase where he's all about the woo stuff. It isn't healthy. Say what you will about the builders, useless old fools that they are. They've got the right idea about pagan idolatry. I leave that well alone, thank you. The love of a fine girl, a comfortable life, or just business for business's sake, those I get. I suppose Archibald will snap out of it one day, recognize what a darn fool he has been, and then that'll be the end of it. But back to business, he's got me sniffing out the coronet in Downlock. There will be a party there, and Duke Wimpald is invited. Got any hints on the approach? May not be hard to slip in incognito, but with the heavy guard they've got, and the cul-de-sac it is, it'd be a death trap on the way out, Drake. So the Coronet in Downlock, isn't that the location in Bad Debts? The Coronet being the restaurant in there, not an inn, restaurant, bar, that we looted. I think that is in a cul-de-sac, so this would make sense. All honest citizens are requested to look out for any sign of the thief who had broken into Messer Hallman's aviary, purloining divers' valuables, including one fine sphere of filigreed gold with gem incrustations. A generous reward has been announced by M. Hallmond for news on this haul. Lieutenant Bromble at Stowgate. Notice, all able-bodied men are ordered to search for the thief who has despoiled the salon of Lady Fandisa al-Azri, incapacitating the company gathered therein with sporific gases, and absconding with silverware and 2 valuable paintings of the old master's ere the guard could apprehend him. Signed, Lugo Thumbardi of the 2nd Cavaliers. And then here there is an interesting map. Study, library, main entrance. Dublin's mansion. I'm not sure if that's from another mission or something. Westminster. Atkinson Street. I'm not sure if this is from other missions that I haven't played, because I don't recognize what's there. Anyway. We have done everything. We need to get our butts out of here. Alright,
It's not going to end well. You can never
wait for
resist a
him.
pretty face. I warned them
Let's
both.
see. Yeah, we have everything that we had when we started. Nothing extra, right? Nope. There we go. We just have to go over here. That should be it. That should be a successful Supreme Ghost of Penny Dreadful 3, Erasing the Trail. We did skip one piece of loot, so it was not successful Perfect Supreme. No damage dealt and received, no health restored. We picked 2 out of 9 pockets. We took 3147 out of 3197, so 50 loot, the purse at the key makers or the blacksmiths. I haven't found a way to return that key to where it's supposed to be and also lock the door behind me. There's a trick to doing that, and this mission is Perfect Supreme Ghostable. We took 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 1 second. We saved 301 times and loaded 116 times. And all of the alert statuses are at 0. Okay, this is a fantastic mission. I absolutely love it. After Iris, it's my favorite Dark Mod mission that I've played so far. But I haven't played many, under like 12 or 15 or something like that. And the next Dark Mod mission that was voted on during the last Penny Dreadful mission, of course, was The Painter's Wife. So we will play that next. The next video, though, will be Catacombs of Knoss, Mission 1, the remastered version of that. And I'm not sure if I'll do mission 2 of Catacombs before I do Painter's Wife. It depends on how long Painter's Wife will take, because it's apparently a very, very large mission and complicated one. So I don't know exactly the order there, but we'll definitely go to Catacombs of Knoss mission 1 next time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. And I will see you next time. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.